Yeowoon attacks Prince Mukium. Prince Mukium was shocked but manages to block him. He was puzzled about how Yeowoon knows martial arts. He now realized that Yeowoon's weightlessness technique was fast and the fact that he didn't have any Nigong during the first test. While he was lost in his thoughts, Yeowoon continued his momentum in his attacks. Yeowoon used the butterfly dance's second formation circular movements, but Mukium manages to avoid it. Then he counters with the Spring Clan's fist technique. Second formation fist attack continues batting, that managed to land. Yeowoon realizes that he is still unable to match Mukium Nigong, so he decided to try a different method. Yeowoon moved to his side and tried to do a slashing-like attack, but again the prince manages to avoid it. Then Mukium countered him with a kick that landed perfectly on Yeowoon's head. He also realizes that Yeowoon only knows the formation but lacks combat experience. Taking advantage of the situation, he attacked Yeowoon using the Spring Clan fist technique. Nano senses the danger approaching, so he activated the built-in defense system that enhances Yeowoon's vision. Nano also activated the battle tutorial. With the help of Nano, Yeowoon saw the attack patterns of Mukium and managed to land a right uppercut. Yeowoon asks Nano what's happening. Nano told him it was the optional built-in self-defense martial arts, and boxing was the method used for the martial arts. Yeowoon doesn't know boxing, so he asks Nano if he could use the butterfly dance technique instead. Then Nano analyzes all the possible moves and counters that can be used. Mukium made a barrage of punches, but Yeowoon manages to avoid all of them. Then he replied with his own set of attacks. Being hit by Yeowoon, Mukium suddenly remembers his painful childhood. Not accepting the idea of losing, Mukium rushed toward Yeowoon but was pinned down. Then Yeowoon asked the other trainees with Mukium to take him away. Mukium asks Yeowoon why he did not finish him. He told him that if it wasn't for the second test, his head would be cracked open. Mukium still continuously mocked Yeowoon, so he just decided to leave. While heading back to the dorm, he reflects on himself, saying that he needs a lot of battle experience to be as good as his teacher. Then he stopped at a cliff and asked Nano about the function that he already used. Nano said to him that he has only used 3% of the features. Then Nano decided to send the Nano Machine function manual and ask Yeowoon if he accepts. He then said yes. Nano sent the manual to Yeowoon's brain, which gave him a little bit of shock. After the transfer is complete, Yeowoon used the function search and Nano showed every feature he has. Yeowoon chose the repetitive battle and augmented reality. Then a hologram of Prince Mukium appeared in front of him. Then the hologram attacks him using the Spring Clan's Spring Roars technique. Yeowoon battled with the hologram and got hit. He asks Nano why he feels pain even though the person in front of him is not real. Nano told him that he was given the amount of pain information when he got hit by the attack earlier. Then Yeowoon continues to battle the avatar, and when he got tired he decided to stop. Nano told him that his skills increased according to experience and his movements through training. Back to the students' quarters. Yeowoon felt the difference in how they treated him just by defeating their leader. Hyo-ban was there to greet him and assisted him in going to his bed. Sensing the change in Hyo-ban, Yeowoon asked him what he wants. Hyo-ban knelt to Yeowoon, saying that he wished to serve Yeowoon as his master. Yeowoon then agreed. Hyo-ban's then a bit scared that he will be beaten by Mukium's group. One of Mukium's group mates called Hyo-ban's an insect. Yeowoon heard this and told him that he was the one who should be called an insect because he always stick with Mukium. This made him mad and tried to attack our main character. Yeowoon evades and hit the back of his neck, which made him unconscious. He then asks Mukium if he wants to fight him again, but the prince just walked away. A week later, the day of the group type second test. Wamyung notices the change in the leader in Group 8. A day before the test, Mukium was watching the other participants' formations on a cliff when the heir of the Sound Clan approached him to give him a warning. She pulled up her sleeve and Mukium asked her if she was injured. Cheon-won Ryo then told him that she was ambushed while training at night. She told her that they might be targeting the leaders of every team. When she left, Cheon-Mukium realized that he should not overlook what happened to her. That night, Yeo-woon was practicing his martial arts. Nano then analyzed his training and told him that his practical ability and proficiency is getting better, and with he might be able to achieve his goals in a few more days. Then he decided to head back to their quarters. While heading back, he suddenly stops when he heard the sound of someone fighting. He went to the location of the sound to check what was happening. Upon arriving, he told Nano to activate night vision mode. Then he saw Ja-hyun on the ground and Cheon-Mukium fighting a masked man. When the masked man attacked Mukium, Yeo-woon decided to step in and help. He throws a punch, but the opponent manages to evade it quickly. Yeo-woon saw how the masked man evades and realizes that he's an expert in martial arts. The masked man then decided to leave when he saw Yeo-woon getting ready to fight. Yeo-woon carried Ja-hyun and Prince Mukium to the quarters, and everyone was shocked when they saw Ja-hyun unconscious and Prince Mukium bleeding. The leader checks Mukium and told Yeo-woon that he might not be able to walk for a few days. This shocked Prince Mukium and the other cadets. The leader then carried Prince Mukium to bring him to the infirmary. Then Yeo-woon followed and carried Ja-hyun. Yeo-woon catch up to the leader and told him about Ja-hyun getting injured too. The leader replied that he knows, and he knows too that someone will try to bring him to the infirmary. Yeo-woon realizes that the leader intentionally left him so that Yeo-woon will follow him outside. The leader then asked Yeo-woon to give Ja-hyun to him, then told Yeo-woon that it's dangerous to walk outside during the night and that he should go back. Before leaving, the leader told Yeo-woon that he should learn how to use his gums if you don't have teeth. This puzzled Yeo-woon and realizes that there was a hidden agenda on the second test. Yeo-woon then realizes that the academy wants them to act like demons and ignore the rules of the test. Then Yeo-woon headed back to their dorm and saw his groupmates now getting demotivated because Prince Mukium was injured and only he has taken leadership and command training. He told them to stop acting pitifully, but instead, they should elect a new leader. Yeo-bom nominated Yeo-woon to be the leader and the group agreed. At midnight, when everyone was asleep, Yeo-woon decided to head out and ambush other teams. He asked Nano to activate night vision mode again and went to room 7. He told Nano to scan their faces and match the structure with the masked guy. Nano told him that no one matches the masked man, so Yeo-woon then pressed their blood points while asleep. Then he headed to the team's 6th room. Nano told him that the 16 people in that room are in deep sleep. Yeo-woon was shocked when he heard. He remembers that there should be 20 people in every group. Then he realizes that the masked guy is one of the people missing in that room. Now Yeo-woon decided to take revenge for what they did to his team. Back to the second test, after the drawing for the match, Yeo-woon asked Nano to scan one of the team leaders. Nano scanned and confirmed that he is the masked man. Then Hwa-myung started the test. The first match ended quickly, which made Hwa-myung comment that it was a boring match. Then when it was Yeo-woon group's turn, he saw his teammates getting demotivated. Realizing that this will affect their performance, Yeo-woon talks to them. He told his team that he is nervous too, and he told them that they will be kicked out of the academy if they don't win. And lastly, he told them that he is angry at the man who caused them problems and ambushed their leader. With that speech, the team's morale went up. Yeo-woon's team opponent is the Sound Clan heir Cheon-won Ryo. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.